For our nurse practitioner students right now, during this COVID crisis, we know that finding a preceptor is incredibly daunting. It's already daunting in a normal environment. Now, with what's going on with COVID, it's even harder. So, wanted to take a few minutes and record what the best resources are on finding a preceptor if you're out there looking on your own. So, the first thing I would say are Facebook groups. Now, there's a lot of Facebook groups out there on social media, on Facebook, where they're titled things like, preceptors willing to precept NP students, or clinical preceptors willing to precept. Things along those lines. There's about 5 to 7 groups of those that we see out there that seem to be pretty successful, where students can find their own preceptor there. Now, obviously, in any group, where you have a demand side and a supply side, there's going to be more students asking than preceptors, but at least there's an opportunity for you to just kind of post your information in there. And I recommend when you post, put in something a bit more on the professional side, do a longer post outlining, why you're excited for your preceptorship and what makes you a good candidate. What you shouldn't do in a Facebook group is just post looking for a preceptor for these dates, because that doesn't help you stand out from the crowd. So that's one really good option. Another good option is LinkedIn. I would really get on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is so powerful because you can filter your audience. So you can actually get on LinkedIn and put in a filter for people with the title or in their profile have APRN, NP, nurse practitioner, advanced nursing, APP, and pull up anyone that works at a clinic under 50 employees, 20 employees perhaps. Now, the reason I say under a certain amount is because typically smaller clinics, the approval process is much faster, and typically the NP or the office manager can give that approval, which is awesome, especially if you're in a tight deadline. But if you start going to the larger clinics that might be owned by hospitals, we all know the approval process, the HR process is ridiculous. So that's why I say stick on a smaller clinic. So that's number 2. Number 1 is LinkedIn. Number 1 is Facebook groups. Number 2 is LinkedIn. Number 3 is your state association. Now, this one I think is really undervalued, and not enough students are taking advantage of this. So to join your state association, for example, we're in Georgia, it's the UAPRN, and they have a student membership. Now, I forget the exact amount. I think it's like $50 or $75 for the year. And, I know other states, we're active with the one in Florida, active with the one in Texas, the TNP out there. You can join it for a lower price point, and because you're a student, it's like a student discount. Now, that's a great place, because even though you have to pay a little bit, you typically get a good bit of benefits. At minimum, you'll get CE credits and or access to CE credits to help you offset the cost, but you get to communicate with providers out there. And typically, providers that are part of their state associations, my gut and my experience tells me that they're usually more willing to help out, more willing to precept, take an extra student if they can, and squeeze you in if they're busy, or during the COVID crisis, if they have a lot of patients, maybe they're willing to put you on telehealth consults and whatnot. So I would recommend state associations, and overall, it's a really great thing to do. We see a lot of our students who take advantage of the ones in Georgia, Texas, Florida. They're really happy with that experience, and they never regret spending the $50 to $75. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the EMP Network. Now, I'm sure that if you're an NP student, you know what the EMP Network is, and if you don't, now you do. Check them out. They sell a preceptor directory for about $100, and they are. It's not always the most accurate or most helpful, because they give you information, but a lot of times the preceptors might be kind of like, it's bad, it's like old information, so they may not actually be able to, may not be precepting anymore. They might have been inundated with requests. So check them out. I don't necessarily think it's worth spending $100 on it. In my experience, our students tell us they've tried it, it's wasted their money, but it is a resource for you, and I want you to know what it is. And then the 5th one is obviously coming to NPHub. Now, I will say that given what's happening right now, we're doing everything we can to make sure our students are taken care of in a different way, in a more sort of let us do everything we can up front way, so you don't have any stress on your mind. So from now, we always have had a money back guarantee, but now we just want to make sure everyone knows that if you come work with NPHub, even if you find a preceptor on your own before us or after we place you, we'll still go ahead and give you that refund, just so that way you feel secure. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time, and thanks a lot, and be safe.